Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever noticed that people don't truly see your worth until you finally walk away? It's almost like the moment you stop chasing them, stop begging for basic respect, stop proving yourself to people who never deserved your presence. Suddenly they wake up. Suddenly they realize the silence hits harder than your words ever did. Suddenly your absence speaks with a power your presence couldn't because they were too comfortable taking you for granted. Today, we're talking about why walking away made them see your value clearly, and more importantly, how you can use Stoic wisdom and your own inner strength to never let anyone dim your worth again. You're here because deep down, you already know you deserve better. And I promise you, this video will give you clarity, confidence, and the mindset shift you need to reclaim your power once and for all. The Stoics often said, "You have power over your mind, not events." And this video is going to show you exactly how to hold that power, how to use your silence, your distance, and your self-control to elevate your life. This is not about revenge. This is not about making them suffer. This is about realizing what you bring to the table and never lowering your standards for people who refuse to rise to meet them. If you've ever felt undervalued, ignored, overlooked, or taken advantage of, you're in the right place. Because once you understand why your absence hit them differently, you'll understand just how strong you actually are. Before we start, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My presence is a privilege, and I choose where it goes. Number one, your absence was the lesson they never expected. When you finally walked away, you delivered a lesson louder than any argument, speech, or explanation could ever deliver. People get comfortable when they believe you'll always be there. No matter how little, they give back. They assume your loyalty is permanent, your patience is endless, and your love is unconditional, even when they contribute nothing. But the moment you stepped back, the moment you removed your energy, your time, your warmth, your support, everything shifted. They felt the void. They felt the silence. They felt the loss of someone who gave them far more than they ever realized. And that shock woke them up. The Stoic Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be willing to be thought foolish." When you walked away, maybe they thought you were being dramatic or emotional, but the truth is, you were improving. You were protecting yourself. You were choosing peace over chaos. Stoics teach that real strength comes from restraint, not reaction. You walked away not because you were weak, but because you finally recognized your own value. You stopped giving discounts to people who never paid full price for your presence. You stopped offering gold to people who treated it like dust. Your withdrawal exposed their behavior to themselves, without you there to cushion it, excuse it, or tolerate it. They had no choice but to face what they had been doing. That's when they saw it. That's when they realized. That's when your value became undeniable. Walking away speaks to people in a language they cannot ignore. It forces them to confront their own actions. It forces them to acknowledge the imbalance they created. It forces them to recognize that you were never the problem. You were the blessing. And while they sit with regret, you step into strength. Now they finally understand what you brought into their life. And now you finally understand that you never needed to beg anyone to notice your worth. Number two, distance revealed who truly respected you. When you chose distance, you didn't just reclaim your power. You revealed every hidden truth sitting beneath the surface. Distance doesn't lie. It exposes loyalty, intentions, motives, and character. And the people who truly valued you didn't disappear when you stepped back. They didn't get angry, offended, or defensive. They leaned in. They checked on you. They respected your boundaries. They adjusted their behavior. The ones who only benefited from your presence, your kindness, your support, or your availability were the ones who vanished, blamed you, or twisted the narrative. That is the gift of stepping away. It separates the genuine from the selfish. Stoic philosophy teaches a person's worth is measured by the worth of what they value. When you distanced yourself, you discovered who valued your heart and who only valued what you did for them. Some people never appreciated you because they thought you'd never leave. They thought your patience was weakness, your love was dependence, and your generosity was something they were entitled to. But distance shattered that illusion. It put them face to face with the reality that they could lose you. And that realization either humbled them or exposed them. Either way, the truth came out. Your absence made them reflect on the moments they ignored you, dismissed you, overlooked you, or took advantage of your consistency. Suddenly, the messages they didn't answer mattered. The plans they canceled mattered. The time they refused to give mattered. They finally felt the consequences of their carelessness. Meanwhile, you found clarity. You discovered peace. You reconnected with your own needs. And most importantly, you confirmed that anyone who disappears when you create space was never meant to stay in your life long term. Distance refined your circle. It purified your connections. It forced everyone to show their true selves. Some people stepped up, some fell away. Either way, you won, because now you know who genuinely respects you, who truly values you, and who only wanted access to you. Your space became your strength. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Distance shows me who really values me. Number 3, walking away revealed your true strength. When you finally walked away, you showed a kind of strength that most people never expected from you. They thought you would stay no matter how they acted. They thought you would keep trying even when they gave you nothing. They thought you would tolerate their behavior because you always had. But the moment you removed yourself, everything changed. You broke the pattern. You broke their control. You broke the cycle that kept you small. And in that moment, you stepped into a level of strength that came from deep inside you. A strength that had been there all along, waiting for you to choose yourself. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is one of the most powerful decisions a person can make. It requires courage. It requires clarity. It requires emotional maturity. And most importantly, it requires self-respect. Stoic philosophy reminds us through Epictetus. No person is free who is not master of themselves. By walking away, you became the master of your time, your energy, and your sense of peace. You chose your mental health over their chaos. You chose your dignity over their inconsistency. You chose your growth over their limitations. And the moment you made that choice, your strength shocked them. They saw a version of you that didn't beg, that didn't chase, that didn't cling. They saw a version of you that didn't collapse under pressure, but rose above it. They saw a version of you that used distance as discipline. Your strength didn't just change how they saw you. It changed how you saw yourself. You started realizing what you deserved. You started recognizing how strong your boundaries actually were. You started feeling a new level of confidence that came from surviving what was meant to break you. Your walk away wasn't a reaction. It was a declaration of self-worth. And once you stepped into that version of yourself, you became untouchable in a way that only healed people understand. Walking away didn't weaken you. It rebuilt you. Number 4, distance made them see what they couldn't see when you were close. When you were close, they were blind to your value because they were too comfortable. They assumed your presence was guaranteed. They assumed your kindness would always be available. They assumed your support, your loyalty, your effort, your heart would stay no matter how they behaved. But the moment you created distance, the fog lifted. The moment you stepped back, the truth hit them. The moment you removed your presence, they finally saw what they had. Distance has a strange way of exposing everything people refuse to acknowledge when you are near. People do not appreciate consistency until it disappears. They do not appreciate loyalty until it is gone. They do not appreciate peace until silence replaces it. And they do not appreciate your effort until they realize they can no longer access it. Your distance created clarity, clarity for them and clarity for you. Marcus Aurelius said the value of a thing is often seen when it is lost. That is the reality of human behavior. When you stopped showing up, they started noticing the void. When you stopped explaining, they started questioning themselves. When you stopped investing your energy, they started feeling the emptiness you left behind. You didn't do anything dramatic. You didn't beg. You didn't yell. You didn't demand apologies. You simply stepped back. And in that quiet step, you allowed them to finally confront the truth they ignored for too long. Distance breaks illusions. It reveals who misses you and who replaces you. It reveals who respects you and who only used you. It reveals who genuinely cares and who only cared about what you provided. And the best part, your distance also freed you. You gained peace. You gained clarity. You gained emotional space to rebuild your strength and your identity without being drained by people who couldn't appreciate you. And as you grew, your value became impossible to overlook. The one thing they never expected was that distance would transform you into someone they could never take for granted again. You showed them that losing you was not just a moment, it was a consequence. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My distance revealed my worth. Number 5, your silence made your value impossible to ignore. When you finally chose silence, everything changed. Not because you were trying to send a message, but because silence itself became the message. People underestimate silence until it stands in front of them like a mirror. When you stopped responding, they were forced to confront the weight of their own behavior. When you stopped defending yourself, they had to deal with the echo of their actions. When you stopped trying to fix what they broke, they had to sit with the damage they caused. Silence is powerful because it exposes truth without saying a single word. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And your silence was the strongest reaction you could ever give because it showed mastery over your emotions and control over your energy. You didn't explain, you didn't argue, you didn't justify your boundaries. You simply withdrew. And that withdrawal spoke louder than any speech you could have delivered. Your silence made them replay every choice they made. It made them think about every moment they dismissed you. It made them rethink every time they failed to appreciate you. Silence creates discomfort because it removes the distraction of noise. It removes the shield of excuses. It removes the illusion that everything is fine. Suddenly, they were left with nothing but their thoughts. And those thoughts reminded them of what they lost. People start remembering your kindness when they no longer receive it. They start craving your presence when they can no longer reach you. They start valuing your peace when the warmth you gave them is replaced by the quiet you now protect. Your silence forced them to see you differently, stronger, wiser, more centered, and no longer available to be taken advantage of. But the real victory wasn't their realization. The real victory was your growth. Silence taught you patience. Silence taught you self-respect. Silence taught you how powerful you become when you stop giving your energy to people who didn't honor it. That silence built a stronger version of you, one that will never shrink for anyone again. Number 6, walking away. Rebuilt your confidence from the ground up. When you finally walked away, you didn't just leave a situation, you stepped back into your own strength. You reclaimed pieces of yourself that you had been giving away without even noticing. You stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. You stopped bending to be accepted. You stopped abandoning your own worth just to hold on to people who never deserved you. And the moment you chose distance, something powerful awakened inside you. Confidence, real, grounded, unshakable confidence, not the loud kind that needs attention, but the quiet kind that stands firm because it knows exactly who it is. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And when you walked away, that's exactly what you took back. Your mind, your heart, your focus, your direction. You stopped letting anyone else dictate your emotions. You stopped giving people the power to ruin your peace. And in that silence, you grew. Walking away teaches you what staying never could. It teaches you how capable you are of rebuilding. It teaches you that you don't need validation to be valuable. It teaches you that you can stand alone without falling apart. Every day you stayed silent. Every moment you chose space. Every step you took away from what was hurting you added bricks to the foundation of your new confidence. You became someone who doesn't chase, someone who doesn't beg, someone who doesn't explain your worth. You embody it, you live it, you walk in it. People start noticing when you glow differently. And that glow came from the courage to let go. They never expected you to find strength without them. They never expected you to rise. They never expected you to rebuild, but you did. And now your confidence speaks in a language they can't ignore. Your silence protected your heart, but your walk away rebuilt your power, and that confidence is something no one will ever take from you again. Number 7, walking away taught you how to control your emotions, not let them control you. When you chose to walk away, you didn't just take your presence back. You took your emotional power back. You stopped playing the game they were trying to pull you into. You stopped reacting every time they provoked you. You stopped letting their silence, their mood swings, their mixed signals, and their manipulation decide how you felt. You stopped being emotionally dragged by people who never deserved access to your heart. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And the moment you walked away, that freedom became yours. You learned that emotional control doesn't come from forcing anything or proving anything. It comes from stepping back, breathing deeply, seeing everything clearly, and responding from strength instead of reacting from hurt. You learned that you don't have to explain your boundaries. You don't have to fight to be understood. You don't have to raise your voice to show your value. Your calm became your authority. Your silence became your shield. Your steady presence became your statement. Walking away forced you to sit with your own feelings and understand them without letting them take you hostage. You realize that emotions are signals, not dictators. You realize that peace is worth more than winning arguments. You realize that clarity feels better than chaos. And you realize that the people who trigger you the most are often the ones you need distance from the most. When you chose yourself, your emotions finally had space to heal instead of being constantly bruised by other people's inconsistency. You stopped letting others pull you back into cycles you outgrew. You stopped letting guilt push you into situations that drained you. You stopped letting old habits control your reactions. You became emotionally disciplined, and that discipline became your freedom. Now, the same people who once controlled your feelings have no influence over you at all. They see your calm. They see your detachment. They see your balance. And for the first time, they realize they have absolutely no hold on you anymore. That is real power. Number 8, walking away made them realize they can't take you for granted. Walking away wasn't just about leaving a situation. It was about showing your value without saying a single word. When you pulled your energy, your attention, and your presence out of their reach, you revealed something they never truly noticed before. Your worth cannot be taken lightly. Most people assume access to you is permanent until they feel it is no longer guaranteed. Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Walking away forced them to confront the reality that they were losing someone exceptional, someone consistent, someone irreplaceable. Suddenly, the comfort they took for granted became an absence they couldn't ignore. They began to notice the small things they once dismissed: your attention, your support, your patience, your kindness, your stability. They realized that the space you left cannot be filled easily, that your presence was never a given, and that their disregard had consequences. You didn't need to lecture them or explain yourself. Your actions spoke louder than words ever could. You demonstrated that respect is earned, not assumed. By stepping away, you created boundaries that cannot be crossed without acknowledgement, and you forced them to see that you are not someone to manipulate, pressure, or control. The clarity that comes from your departure made them evaluate their own behavior, and for the first time, they saw that taking you for granted has a cost. Walking away empowered you and humbled them without confrontation. You showed that your value is visible even in absence, and your life continues to thrive while theirs reflects on what they lost. That is the ultimate lesson of respect earned, undeniable, and reinforced by your silence and self-respect. You see, walking away isn't weakness. It's not about giving up or punishing anyone. It's about reclaiming your power, protecting your energy, and showing yourself the respect you've always deserved. Silence, absence, and self-discipline are tools that reveal truth about others, and most importantly, about you. When you stop chasing, stop explaining, and stop lowering your standards, you allow life to teach lessons that words cannot. The people who truly matter will recognize your worth. The ones who don't will fade away, and that's exactly how it should be. Remember, the Stoics taught us that our reactions shape our lives. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Your silence, your calm, your choice to walk away. All of these are reactions that set boundaries, assert value, and protect your inner peace. This is the path of strength. This is the path of clarity. You don't need anyone's approval to validate your existence. Stand firm, honor yourself, and let life flow around the truth you've created. You are strong, unshakable, and fully aware of your worth. Carry this with you every day and watch how life responds. And before you go, drop this affirmation in the comments. I walk away with strength. I stand with power, and my worth is undeniable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson that fuels your growth.